Can a lens as affordable as this one really be that good? Hey, thanks for joining me. So yesterday, Riley and I went out and do some testing with this lens. This is a Minolta Rokkor-X PF 50mm f1.7. That's a mouthful. Just a standard lens that Minolta produced for a lot of years. Nothing real exciting, it would seem. But I hadn't tried it, and I'd heard some good things about it, so I thought it'd be a good time to just go out and see what this lens could do. And I'm really glad I did. So the name on this thing, the MC Rokkor's, MC doesn't stand for multi-coated, it actually stands for meter coupled. And the MC lenses were the first ones that were designed to be coupled to the metering system in Minolta cameras, starting with, I guess, probably the SR series, the SR101 series cameras. And the Rokkor, of course, they name all their lenses now Rokkor. That has something to do with the name of a mountain that sits near the Minolta factory. And the X, I haven't really been able to find anything about the X in Rokkor-X other than the North American versions were marked Rokkor-X, and other places they weren't. They were just marked Rokkor. And then the PF is interesting. The PF is their convention that describes how many elements and how many groups. So PF, the P stands for pente, which in Greek stands for 5. So there's 5 groups. And then the F is the 6th letter in the alphabet, so there's 6 elements in 5 groups. Now, why Minolta chose 2 different conventions to create that, I don't know, that's weird. But when you see a lens from Minolta, if it's got that PF, P means 5 and F is the 6th letter, so 6 elements in 5 groups. That's a standard Minolta design for their normal lenses. And so the things that I found out about this lens, though, that while it's not one of those lenses that has something crazy unique about it that makes you want to go out and buy it right away, it's got some great qualities. So first of all, it's decently sharp. Even wide open at f1.7, it's reasonably sharp. You can shoot it wide open, and the results are usable, definitely. It stopped down, it gets excellent sharpness. It's really got good sharpness. It's got good contrast. One of the things that I really love about it, it has those beautiful Minolta colors. Minolta lenses deliver a color palette that I really love. It's a little bit on the warm side maybe compared to some others, but I really like that. And it's just really pleasant, beautiful colors. And so it's got good sharpness, it's got good color, it's got good contrast. This lens, particular one, is in really good shape. There's no haziness or anything inside, which Minolta lenses aren't known for. But it's a great image quality. I just really like it. It's also just really a smooth lens. It really is. So the MC versions are all metal. If you get this lens in an MD version, the aperture ring might be plastic, and even the focus ring on some of the last ones might be plastic. But they made these in both MC and MD versions. I would imagine the MD versions are multi-coated. It's possible that this is. I'm really not sure where their multi-coating started. That's something I'm going to have to find out. But its focus on it is really smooth. The aperture ring is nice and smooth. Now, there's, if you look at the aperture ring, it starts at 1.7 and jumps to 2.8. Of course, 1.7 is very close to f2, and the between 1.7 and 2.8, there's just one click. After that, it's all half-stop clicks, so it's really nice. You can get those nice half-stops, which is really nice. It's smooth enough that if you use this for video, you might be able just to, rotate it around without it really being noticeable. The clicks are really smooth, but they're not like real sharp. It doesn't really. I think you could change the aperture on video without really, causing any kind of commotion in your video. It's a beautifully made lens. And like I say, it's 50 millimeters, so on micro 4/3, this is going to be equivalent to 100 millimeter. So you can imagine if you were to go out and buy a 100 millimeter f1.7 lens for your full frame camera, that's going to probably be a fairly expensive lens. The cool thing on micro 4/3 is you get that wonderful focal length at a really fast aperture, really good price. So this is going to be like 75 millimeter, roughly that, I think equivalent focal length on APS-C, and of course 50 millimeter on full frame. I use this with without a lens hood. I don't have a 55 millimeter lens hood. The filter ring is 55 millimeters. I'm going to have to get one, but it just was really nice to use, and the images from it, I think, just shows some really good quality. So Riley and I went down to this area downtown called Automobile Alley, and when you look at the pictures, you'll see some of this. The Automobile Alley in the early 1900s was where all the car dealerships were, and car dealerships back then didn't have these huge inventories of cars like some of them do now. They're actually like office buildings, and on the first floor, that's the showroom. That's where all the cars were, inside on the first floor. Up above that was offices and stuff. Some of them even had elevators, and there were cars on upper floors, which is kind of interesting. But this was called Automobile Alley. There was also some other shops, like tire shops and mechanic shops and stuff in that area. But this is the area you went to starting in beginning of cars and up and through probably the 30s. This was the area you went to buy a car. And it was, I think, probably really even after World War II before the car dealerships really started moving out into the suburbs and stuff and spreading out. But anyway, it's an interesting area. The buildings have gone through some renovation. When I was younger, it was just this kind of really derelict part of downtown, but they've revived it, and it's got some really nice eclectic kind of shops there and some businesses, and it's a kind of cool place. And there's a lot of leftover remnants of that era when it was a automobile dealership area, and so there's some signage and stuff like that that's still there, which is kind of cool. So anyway, went out and took some pictures. This lens is I don't know why I never really tried it before. It's been in my collection of lenses for years. It just seemed like it was something unremarkable, and in general, it's not something that stands out in some really unique way, but it really has great image quality. The one thing also I didn't mention, the out of focus highlights on this are really, really beautiful. When you shoot this thing wide open at 1.7, focus kind of close on something, and then let the backgrounds go soft and blur a little bit, they're just nice and soft and creamy. Your out of focus highlights are they're just soft, round blurs. They don't have a donut or a onion ring or whatever you want to call it, a sharp edge around them. They're just nice and soft. Really just a beautiful rendition for the backgrounds. And so they're not swirly, they're not anything crazy like that, but they are just very nice, and they're nice to use. So let's take a look at some of these pictures and let you take a look at those. We'll play some of those and then come back afterwards and talk about what you saw. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing those pictures. This lens was a lot of fun to use. I really enjoyed it. I'm using this on one of those inexpensive Photo-C mounts. I'll put some links in the description down below for these mounts. You can get them on Amazon. They're really inexpensive, but they're well made and they work well. And the thing that is remarkable about this lens is after I used this thing and got home, I'm like, I wonder how inexpensive these things really are. And I looked on eBay and, I searched for this lens and I filtered for buy it now. So there, I'm looking at, lenses that are actually for sale, not on auction, and then filtered for, price low to high so I could see the cheapest ones. And there were a lot of these things in what looked like they were in good shape for less than $20. I mean, that's really affordable. The most expensive ones I found were in the $35 to $40 range, and those were really nice with the original caps and maybe even a box, or, they were almost like new condition. So this is probably one of the most affordable 50 millimeter lenses that you're going to be able to find if you're wanting to maybe get started with adapting vintage lenses. This would be a great one to start with because it's super affordable, got great image quality. I love the color, nice soft bokeh, and an amazingly low price. So anyway, that's the Minolta MC Rokkor-X PF 50 millimeter f1.7. And again, if you get the MC Rokkor that doesn't have the X, or if you get the MD Rokkor, any of them that are this PF version. Now the MD don't say PF. They stopped that naming convention for the elements and groups with the MD lenses. So the MD will just say MD Rokkor 50 millimeter f1.7. But any of those, it's just gonna be a great lens. And if you're wanting something that you can convert and that you can use on your mirrorless camera, this is a great one to use. And even if you have a bunch of lenses and you're just wanting to try something new, I definitely would get one of these. I mean, they're so inexpensive, there's no reason not to give one a try. Anyway, if you have any thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment. And as always, thanks for watching.